This is Eric Lamontagne, head coach of the Stewards Foundation youth team. And we're here, well, I'm here today to show how to properly de-rig and rig a sweep boat. This video is obviously not for those that have been around rowing for too long, but again, might be something that wasn't taught or was kind of glossed over, but this is primarily for my novice rowers and any other novice rowers who find the information useful. So when a coach is loading a trailer, or I don't know, just asks you to de-rig or rig an 8 or 4 or any other sweep boat, essentially what they're asking you to do is to strip it down to where it's just the shell of the boat. So the riggers that stick outside of the boats here, obviously on an 8 you have 8, on a 4 you have 4. The coach is asking you when he says to de-rig to take the riggers off. It simply isn't a game of Legos where, oh, as long as it gets off, that's great. Every part needs to stay with the boat. Things can't get damaged. So very simple how to de-rig an 8. God, it can be taught in less than 20 seconds, really. Well, you'll see on each rigger, and it's the same, just applies to the other side of the boat, so it's just mirror image on the other side. But you've got a rigger there, 1, 2, 3, 4 spots that you need to touch with a wrench as a rower. Other than that, you shouldn't have to touch anything on the rigger. So you'll come up to the rigger. Obviously, here's the front stay. The back stay is black, or it'll be a different color. Won't be, generally it's not the same color, but again, bow of the boat back, front of the boat, or toward the stern of the boat, front stay. You just put the wrench on nice and snug and just lightly loosen it off. Once it gets toward the edge, this is the part where a lot of rowers, it's not a huge mistake, but parts still cost money. You want to be careful taking this off and then taking the washer off. Now obviously I'm rigging on cement, so it's not as big of a deal, but if you're rigging on grass, you drop one of those things, you spend 20 minutes looking for it, and it's just parts that you don't want to have to replace. So what I recommend to my kids, once you take them off, just lay them out, and you can do it, you don't have to be an engineer about it, but put the front stay here, put the 2 from the middle stay, and then put your back stay there. That way you always know where it's at. So once you do that, just come back. It doesn't matter really. I'm not picky, at least, about what order you do things in. As long as it gets off, and the only thing you're touching is these here, loosening them up. It's not that big of a deal. So again, nice and easy. Once it gets towards the edge, just be mindful of where they're at. Pull them off, bring them over, set them down, in your little diagram. Again, it doesn't have to be this exact. I'm very picky when it comes to how I do things, because when I was a rower, I didn't want to upset my coach. So, it is what it is. You do what you need to do, but this is how to de-rig a rigger. I'm obviously doing it a lot slower so that everyone can learn how to do it, at least my novice. Again, this isn't for someone, experienced rower wise, because this is common knowledge. Each person probably has their own specific way of doing things, but again, you want to make sure they're nice and loose here. That way you can just kind of rotate it off with your finger. This one's a little tricky just because of the tight spot with your fingers, but again, once you get it close to the edge, just be careful with it. That way it either drops into your hand or rolls off into your fingers. One step out here, pull the washer off, there we go. Lightly pick the rigger up, there you go. Now you have a de-rigged rigger. Now really to put it on back on, you just place it back on and reverse what you just did. So you just put the washer back on first, tighten the bolt on, just do that all the way down, or tighten the nut on, and just do that for all 4 spots again, and you have a rigged boat, just making sure that they're nice and tight to the boat.